Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video here. My name is Ryan from Elevate Security, and today we will be doing some hands-on exploitation using Metasploit. So we already confirmed that the target box is vulnerable to Eternal Blue. All the signs are there. We've done recon on SMB. It told us the exact version and service pack of Windows running. We confirmed that version, that service pack, was vulnerable to this vulnerability. And let's see. So now that we know those things, we know what it's running and stuff, and we've done recon both from Nmap, and even we just threw in some Metasploit recon as well. Let's look for that actual exploit, Eternal Blue. So we just search there and we see a couple of hits. Let me go ahead and expand this just a bit, get it a little bit more readable. So this one is for the Windows 8, which this is Windows 7 that we're looking at here. So we're looking at MS17010, and that's the Eternal Blue SMB remote Windows kernel pool corruption. So before we do that, just one more thing, because this should be a pretty brief video if all goes well. Fingers crossed, because these exploits can be a little finicky when it comes to any kind of SMB code execution exploit. Those memory type ones can sometimes be a little finicky. Let's run this first. This is a really good one. Anytime you're going to run this, we'll do the RCE detection, right? It'll detect first, and that way we are certain, because you never want to just blindly throw exploits at a system. That's always like just the most unprofessional and most error-prone way of doing things. So options, let's see what it requires here. We're going to set our host 10.10.10.40, and then we will keep the R port at 445 because that is the port SMB. We'll let it run its name pipes, and yeah, that's all we really need to do. So we'll run that, I believe. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see if, I think there was a space input in there on accident. Let's go back here, and that's an L. That is tricky. Oops. So now we're going to go ahead and run this, and now all should be well. Let's see what it comes back with. Yeah, it says the host is likely vulnerable because of its service pack and Windows 7, service pack 1. So there we go. So we know that this should work. So we're safe to run the actual exploit that we found above. Let's just go up a little bit and see exactly which one that was. So that was this one, the non-Windows 8 one, because we got Windows 7. So we can just copy this, is a quick way to do it, and then just say use, paste that in, take a look at the options, see what is required. First thing we do is set the R host without the L this time, and then that is all we need. This is a pretty simple one to run. We'll just have it verify the architecture and target as default. And you can run or exploit. I'll just type exploit. They do the same thing. So it started to handler connected. Please work. This could be really finicky sometimes, so I'm just hoping that it doesn't crash it, because this is kind of like roll the dice, almost 50-50 it feels like sometimes. And if it doesn't work, then I gotta restart the whole freaking VM, so it's really annoying. But here's to hoping this works. If it pops in and I get the little shell. Wait, hold up. Oh, okay, who am I? Empty authority system. There we go. And on Windows, if you're not aware, when you see empty authority system, that is the highest level of privilege. That's equivalent to root on like a Linux system there. So that means you can do whatever you want. Yeah, what is the Windows equivalent? I think it's current working directory. No, whatever. Now we just go grab the flags, right? I'm not gonna show the flags on screen. You can run all the Windows commands here. Whoa, I forgot how many there were there. That's a lot of files. If we go back to man, it's been a while since I've done this Windows stuff. The quickest way, is before you go into shell, right? Trying to think here, because you can run all the. I could background this and run the interpreter commands before I do that. But if I go back a little bit, right, and then I take a look at these, right, we can go into users, and then we can, dir is like ls in this, right? So we could go in here, we could grab the Harris flag, which I won't show on thing. It's normally in desktop. That's where they like to keep them in the hack the box CTFs. So let me just not cat that, but we'll just do this to make sure this is the flag. And oh yeah, why am I running Linux commands? This is really weird. Okay, it's 32, but things long, I think is what that means. So yeah, you can't run Linux command in Windows. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But yeah, that's the user flag. So I think if we go back, back again, and we go into administrator and do the same thing, and that's how we would get. Whoops, I did not type that correctly. Administrator, and then I think the desktop for that should be the admin flag, root.text. So you just, I guess it's not cat. It's not cat in Windows. It's type, I believe. But yeah, and then you can get that flag, and then once you have those flags, really, it's just you just go in here, and you just click on whatever box you're doing. And then you say own user, and you put in the user flag, own root, put in the root flag, and then you'll get credit for completing the box. And that's how you do, that's really all you do for all these boxes in order to like complete them or whatever. And if it did crash the system, like say when I ran that Metasploit command, it like completely bricked the system, then we could come in here and, well actually, we could have done it from that previous page we were on, but I think you should be able to do it in here too. You just click reset. You click this reset button, and it will power off the server and like restore it to the state where it was working, and then it'll boot it up for you with the service running and everything. So that's how you would go ahead in a CTF hack the box environment, get things working. If you were on this screen, say, I believe you can do that as well. You can just hit stop machine, and then, or no, you can just hit reset machine. Yeah, reset machine, and then you're good. Oh, you can submit the flags from here too. Oh, I didn't know that. They've like really overhauled this a lot since I used to use it a lot. It used to look different and actually be different. But oh, cool. There's like a to-do list. I don't know if they had that before either. But yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you exploit systems once you know what's vulnerable, assuming they're vulnerable to RCE, remote code execution, which for hack the box CTFs and CTFs in general, usually they're like all vulnerable to RCE, like remote code execution. And if not, then there's a way to get credentials to a user, and that's how you get a foothold in the system. In this case, the exploit, like the SMB service, was running as NT system authority, or authority system or whatever. So what that meant was we were already the highest privileged account on there. Whatever the service that is exploited is running as, when you exploit that, you run as that user, right? So that's why it's so dangerous to run services as a high privileged account, as a root account, as an NT authority system account. Because if that gets compromised, the attacker has like the highest level of privilege on the system. So there was no privilege escalation needed there. On a lot of these boxes, we get the initial shell, but it's a low privileged account. And then from there, we got to look on the server itself and try to find a vulnerability that will let us pivot to a higher level of privilege, a higher level of access to that root account, to that NT authority system. In this case, we didn't need to do that. that the SMB service is running as the highest privilege. So we had the highest privilege. We could do anything we want from there. So in CTFs, it's just about getting a flag. But if you were an actual attacker, if you had that level of privilege on a system, you could do anything you want. You could see all of the files. You could read all the files on the system. You could, maybe impersonate users and try to pivot to other systems. You could write some malicious code that runs on that server, and maybe that interfaces with another server, and you get access to that other server. You pivot. Maybe you scan internal. Maybe it's a dual NIC system, so you're able to scan servers on another network using that system as a pivot, right? So there's so many things you could potentially do in a more elaborate environment and as a actually practical attacker, So and there are some CTF stuff like that. OSCP has that. Hack the Box, not so much with the pivoting stuff, but the OSCP labs have that and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just giving you a feel for what's possible. But this was just a sort of let's show you hands-on what the exploitation stuff looks like as an attacker. Now, yeah, I hope you guys found that of interest, and in future videos we can dive into some more boxes. If you guys like this one, let me know. I'll make some more like this. We can go into more advanced stuff, and eventually maybe I can do some live hacking videos where I'm taking on some of these systems that I haven't exploited yet.